Did the North Carolina Association of Realtors just change the buyer agency agreement form to say that we can no longer amend it if we need to change our compensation? That's what we're talking about in today's video breakdown. For those who haven't met me, my name is Chris Cox. I am the education director of a little real estate school in North Carolina called Level Up Learning. And I like to just put together these videos just on topics that are coming up. And today I wanted to talk about the recent changes in February of 2025 to the exclusive buyer agency agreement. Specifically one paragraph that has been in a couple coffee meetups with other fellow brokers and just had conversations about these forms. I just wanted to share kind of what my thoughts are on this form. Again, well, I do want to preface this with I am not a real estate attorney. I am not an attorney at all. I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn, so I have no legal grounds to talk about the legality of what we're talking about. And please follow whatever your broker in charge and whatever your company and your firm has decided to do with these changes as well. I'm just going to give my opinion and my interpretation of a combination of research that I've done with it. So as I mentioned, there were two coffee meetups that I've been attending where we had discussion around this specific paragraph in the new buyer agency agreement. So let's start here with this paragraph and specifically. So I have up on the screen, I have the old paragraph 5 from the exclusive buyer agency agreement as of December of 2024 and into January of 2025. So this is paragraph 5. It says that the negotiable fee buyer understands that the amount, format, or rate of a real estate compensation is not fixed by law, but it is set by each broker or firm individually and is fully negotiable. If any additional compensation is offered by the firm, or any other party and related services, and the additional compensation exceeds what that buyer has agreed to pay herein, firm cannot be paid additional compensation unless buyer agrees to amend this agreement. Buyer has no obligation to agree to additional compensation. So that's the previous version. And then this recent update here in February or late January of 2025, this is the new version of that same exact paragraph. So buyer understands that the amount, format, or rate of real estate compensation is not fixed by law set by each broker. So same exact thing as before. And then firm may not receive compensation for the services from any other source that exceeds the rate or amount agreed to herein by the buyer. So again, two coffee meetups that I've had with local brokers. And again, if you're not having these kind of conversations with people from other firms, I highly recommend that you're out there just learning about what other firms are doing and how we're reacting to this crazy environment of rapid change that we're in from a real estate compliance perspective and what we're doing as an industry here locally in North Carolina to adapt to these settlements. So the conversation settled, was around, hey, this basically says that we can no longer amend our compensation. We've all had those opportunities where we maybe went to a builder and they were offering more compensation than what our buyer agency agreement had in writing, or they were offering a bonus. Many of us have had these kind of situations, and it was kind of just we would go amend our buyer agency agreement. But the conversation that I had from both of these coffee meetups was that this says that can't be done, and I completely disagree with that. Again, it does not say that can't be done. It just is not in there as part of the contract. And I feel, again, not from any legal perspective, that the association was just taking that language out of the contract, not saying that it could not be amended, because I don't believe they can say that we can't amend our agreement and specifically the compensation in there. There's a specific form provided by the North Carolina Association of Realtors to amend the exclusive buyer agency agreement. So that amendment form still exists. That didn't go away. So that leads me, again, that's part of the research that leads me to my belief that it can still be amended. And then the second part of that research of why I support that you can still amend your compensation specifically in the buyer agency agreement is from the National Association of Realtors FAQ website. So this is pulled directly from the website yesterday. I had seen it there a month and a half ago in a previous training that I did just on how you can navigate some of those changes. But this is FAQ number 86, and this says that Does this mean that brokerages can only have one agreement with the buyer? And it goes on further to say, and I have it highlighted here, at times a new or amended buyer agreement may be appropriate, and the buyer and the broker may agree to amend terms. However, amended agreements must also meet the requirements of practice changes. The changes must be implemented fully, which to me, I interpret implemented fully being a signed and agreed upon amendment to the buyer agency agreement, and in good faith and service of promoting customer empowerment, choice, and healthy competition. So that second part is a little vague to me. That's where I don't have my lawyerese interpreting exactly what that says. But when I interpret it implemented fully, to me, that means it can be amended with an agreement, an amendment to, signed by all parties. That means to me that's implemented fully. So that's the way I interpret that. So I am going on with my practices the way that I have always done since I've changed my practices with the settlement and those changes that were as part of that settlement. So I would love to know what you're thinking about that. What do you agree with what I'm saying here? Am I crazy? Go ahead and drop your comments on what you think about these changes specifically. Do you interpret that the same way that I do? What is your firm doing to amend changes? I would love to have a good conversation about that and just get your thoughts on it. Again, this is just my point of view based on how I am interpreting those forms. And again, please follow whatever your firm or your attorneys are telling you to do. And if you like the content that we're putting out here, go ahead and give us a subscribe. And if you want to see one of the more recent videos I did a breakdown last week of the new exclusive right to sell, and you can get to that document there. 15-minute video, a little less than 15-minute video where I break down the recent changes to the exclusive listing agreement and dropping it down from 13 pages to 7 pages, which I think is phenomenal. So thank you so much for watching, and hope to see you in the comments and maybe on a CE class soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.